Jump out, swing Bora, show the odds about torture. Dukey loves to talk on Snapchat when I bet that he's no longer a talker.
Hey guys, welcome to another video. A lot of you guys have been asking me, hey Cole, how did you edit this music video? How did you do the effects? How did you film it? I'm gonna be covering all of those questions in this video. Let's get started. Alright, so the way I'm going to be breaking down this video is I'm gonna watch it with you guys, and every time I'm gonna pause and then show you the editing process and how I actually did everything. So without further ado, let's play the video.
Yo, where you at, cuz? Man's round the corner still. Jeez, Krasha, where you at?
Man's local still, might pull up.
So you see those there, they were just slow motion shots. So in music videos, in a lot of music videos, I think as you continue watching, as you watch music videos and whatnot, you notice, hey, the intro of a song, there's an intro, and then there's verses and chorus, and then whatever it is, bridge, depending on the structure of the song. And this, of course, the intro is there. So to kind of fill out the intro, because you can't be having, it's kind of weird to have an intro where it's just not slow motion, if that makes sense. You know, it's weird to see those type of things there. So slow motion is always the way to go forward. And if you're wondering how slow motion works, that was shot in 60 frames per second, slowed down, and then played at 25 frames per second.
Jeez, Krasha, where you at?
Man's local still, might pull up.
Fucking what? Shout man innit, cause fuck.
A lot of people have been asking me, how did you create this here? So I'm going to show you guys how I created this thing, because it's like an animation, it's like a 3D animation text thing.
Yeah, nope. Jump out, whisper.
Alright, so I'm in this 3D application called Blender, and I'm going to show you guys how I actually quickly composited this text here. So it's basically an animation, so if I play it from the beginning, it's like this. And it just loops and loops and loops. So if I actually go to the text itself, you see that all I had is message, artist names on top here, and descent here. Basically, this 3D program allows you to actually change the colors, extrude it, make it large. It's a 3D program, so you can actually change the text. You just enter text and you create other models as well. So for example, if I was to select the text here, I can change the color and change the material. So the base color right now is blue. If I want to make it, I can make it this orange color. And this orange color, I can even do something like this. I can extrude the text. Extruding means to actually make it thicker. So what I can do is go to the side here to actually view it there. Press extrude and extrude the text like that. So look at that. I can make it something like that. I can also go back to the material itself. And then instead of making it metallic, because right now it looks like a shiny, chromish, metallic look, I can reduce the metallic flavor and make it less shiny by introducing some roughness. And it looks soft, and you get it. So if I go back to the camera view, you can make it look like that. Change the colors, make materials, colors, all this type of stuff. I think is actually a really interesting program. So that's just what I did there. Of course, if you guys want a tutorial on how I actually go further, actually making 3D artwork and all this type of stuff, then leave a comment below. But this is how I made this thing here. And then to animate it, I just play the keyframes and just animate it there. But a lot of people have been asking me, how do you even create all these 3D designs? And people like the look of it. So let me go back to the blue one, because I think that one looks lame. Let's go back to it. And then all I did here is animated each text here on the rotation axis. So it goes like this. Just that. And then it loops. It loops. Simple. This probably took me like 5 minutes, 4 minutes to make. And yeah, that's that there. Alright, let's keep playing the song.
Fuck yeah, nope. Jump out, push pedal back.
So if you've noticed the whole song so far, we're at about 18 seconds and you haven't seen any real-time motion shots. They're all been slow motion. And even with the drone shots as well, it makes sense to include a lot of slow motion, and of course make sure that there's different types of clips as well, because otherwise if you don't include different type of shots, it gets boring for the viewer. Yeah.
Let's swing this on a barrel with it. Damn.
Yeah, the video was shot by me.
No way he just did that.
Yo, Cole, is that you in the mix?
Jump out, push pedal back, let's swing this. I'm on a battle with a kitchen.
It's a kitchen knife, I might swing it right as I hit the guy, try turn man victim.
A lot of people have been asking me, how did you do that effect? That looks so cool. Because if you actually look at it, let's go back actually. Yeah.
Oh, is that you in the mix?
Jump out, push pedal back, let's swing this. I'm on a battle with a kitchen.
You can tell that there's two locations at that different locations.
The kitchen knife, I might swing it right as I hit the guy, try turn man victim.
Okay, so let's break that down. Alright, so I'm here in the video editor. This is DaVinci Resolve, as I explained. You can get a free version. I totally love it. I recommend it all the time. So if we go to the actual thing itself, to the bit where that came in, let's extend this. Let's make this. I'm going to remove the color grade on top. Okay, with the country on top. So the first bit here is when the verse comes, or when the hook comes in, is this bit here.
I'm on a better rule with a kitchen.
It's a kitchen.
So how did that affect? It's kind of simple. Most of the effects happened when I was recording the video itself. So I had the camera, the artist was in front of me, and then we planned, okay, when I do this, when they do that, like switch the camera, I move as well. So it was one take, one motion, then I span around, I panned to the right in that motion. And after we made sure we maintained the same positioning or movement with the other artists as well, so that when they switch their hands or whatnot, it's the similar motion. So essentially all I did here, if I just play the individual one here, so if I take off this effect for the time being quickly, in fact, let me duplicate it here, right? And then just extend this quickly. Okay, so all you're seeing now is the one on top.
Jump out, push pedal back, let's swing this. I'm on a better rule with a kitchen.
It's a kitchen knife. I might swing it right as I hit the guy. Try turn my.
You see that? So essentially all it is that, and because there's motion blur, without motion blur is the blurry effect that you see, because it depends on the shutter rate, all of these other camera settings. Because of that motion blur, it makes sense that when I go to the editing software, I can add like a smooth transition, which adds more blur, and the more blur there is, I can kind of fuse it in together and transition it to the next one. So that's what I did here. So if you look at the next one here now, so all I added here, the type of effect I added was this effect. It is called, what transition is it? Let's check it out. I went to video transitions, and I think I went to smooth cut. No, not smooth cut. Push. It was either push or slide. Okay. Then what that does here is push. Then what that does here, you can see if you look closely. If I go frame by frame, like this, you can see it starting to fuse together. And because it's so fast, it gives you the illusion that hey, something's changing, or it's transitioning. And then I came back to this other artist. Then after we did that,
Knife. I might swing it right as I hit the guy. Try turn man victim.
same thing there. So if I play this bit here, if I just bring this to the top, right, and then after I'm going to show you just this version here, so you can see his one.
Try turn man victim. Leave him victim.
And it kind of worked there as well, because where the artist was positioning himself that time, where it was going to move to was where the other artist was kind of going to be. So he wasn't there, but we kind of stitched it, and that's how the composition kind of worked out, and it worked out very nicely. See that? And then when we actually added the next one, of course it was a bit faster here, but it worked out there. So that's how we did the effect there. Let's go back to the video.
Leave him victimized. Poor man's tea, leave it liquefied. I thought bro tap that is knowledge. Who would've knew that it hit the side?
Jump out, push pedal back, let's swing this. I'm on a better rule with a kitchen.
It's a kitchen knife. I might swing it right as I hit.
That effect there, let me show you how I did that. Okay, cool. So for that effect there, it's not a hard one, but sometimes it can be kind of time processing or time intensive. So essentially all I did here was masked out the individual, the artist there. So if we go to here, I masked them out. Let me disable all these other background effects as well. So I masked them out like this. So this is what you're seeing. So if I disable this one as well, I basically went to the video clip itself here. Got almost like if you're familiar with Photoshop, you get the pen tool and you mask the character out or whatever it is out. Then you take an image of that, you bring it forward. So here you can see I brought it forward. You know, after I brought it forward, I just brought in all these other background effects, like this newspaper effect here, and then I brought in this other one, this overlay effect, to give it some sort of glittery shine or whatnot. And then towards the end of it, right, I added this what's it called? This dip to color, so it splashes white. It's like a white flash, so it looks like this in total.
Someone a better rule with a kitchen.
Okay, let me enable the other one quickly.
Someone a better rule with a kitchen.
It's a kitchen.
Something like that.
The guy try turn man victim. Leave him victimized. Poor man's tea, leave it liquefied. I thought bro tap that is knowledge. Who would've knew that it hit the side?
So that effect there is basically a similar thing where it's like you're using the masking options and masking tools in DaVinci Resolve. You can also do it in Premiere Pro and other not DAW. You can also do it in other video editors. So if we go to that section here, where is it? Here it is. Okay. So I kind of duplicated the thing there. I think I even paused the image because the motion was too fast. So I duplicated the footage, the footage, took like a screenshot or I captured or freeze frame. After I freeze framed, I kind of went into it and I used these zoom functions here. And after I went actually into Fusion, then it did it in Fusion. So I went into the zoom functions, animated the zoom functions so it zoomed in just its eye, and then I kind of created the mask. Actually, I made the mask first and I did the zoom afterwards, if that makes sense. So it looks like this. So let's just zooming in like that. So if I go to Fusion, you will be able to see how I did the masking thing as well. So all it is masking when you see those type of effects there. This mask, see, it makes like a mask is basically, if you see here the fusion effect here, I created the polygon here, which masks it out. So if we play it from the beginning, this is the zoom function I was talking about. So I just masked it out, then I zoomed in, of course, and then hey, I added another transition to make it look like hey, it's going through. That's all it is there. Of course, if you guys want more of an in-depth tutorial on all these effects, then let me know. But this is just an overview, okay?
Trust, I made it with a done bust. I won't leave till one of them chucked. See me up when I turn man dust. Yeah, it's really her back that she rocks. Wait, how many man got bucked?
Also, one thing as well, with these type of tracks, it's like a UK drill type of track, you want motion. You want, there shouldn't be like a clip that lasts for more than, it actually depends because it's all contextualized. You don't want a clip that lasts, like, for example, a clip like this, there needs to be something else going on because it's not a slow track. The BPM is kind of fast, so you want a track that's fast. Basically, all I'm trying to say is that add clips, add clips, add clips. Shoot as much as you can on the shoot, on the day of the shoot. Also, just a side note, this video took literally a couple hours to film, and then yeah, that's it. Let's continue playing.
Him. Trust me, the list is fucked. Run up on guys when they see guys duck. Orders got smoke, TNT. Use that, don't let police.
Also, you see there with those type of effects there, every time the beat hits, make some changes. That's what I did there. I'll show you when I go back into the editor, but that's it there. That was kind of cool when the police came, and then we kind of, that's it. Of course, you can self-explanatory.
Use that, don't let policemen see. Use that, do that, hop out and move, man, juice, man, do it, we see.
Also, drone shots. It helps give the dynamic and see a bigger picture of the whole scene, or the whole scenery, and it kind of looks cool. And if you can get a good drone as well that kind of shoots in like Cinelog or in a raw format, I think it'll take the video. It'll make it look like it's a movie and it's a high production, so that's always a good thing.
See them scream when the beef gets real. Don't DM me on the gram, put my phone on DND like BMT. If I see them cheese, then I'll back this out and then feed them ski.
Ain't national works. Ain't national works. Ain't national works. Don't lurk, so you shouldn't be low. I switch catch up, put man on a shirt. They don't give me.
I don't know if you can see the overlay actually itself as well, and you can see the grade. The grade is like the final piece. Well, there's multiple stages of color grading, but you can see there's some grain, there's some film grain to give it that texture, and there's also some light ray or light reflection. So if I go to the editor, if you see here, okay, this is how I kind of edited it here. So you can see all these individual clips here, individually color graded and whatnot. Then after you see this adjustment layer on top, this is where I added the color grading on top. So with you can see, let me go to a clip actually. So in fact, let me go to the individual clip and show you kind of the color grading processes on some of these shots here. So if I'm going to this one, I want to go to the color tab itself, and then okay, here. So if I disable all these effects, this is how the clips originally look like. Okay, how washed out it looks like, because the camera shot it shoots in Blackmagic RAW. Okay, and then what you have to do, because it hasn't got like another codec where it actually has, basically you have to color grade it yourself, and that's what raw footage kind of looks like. Okay, to get it to this stage of where it looks like here, this colorful one, essentially all it is saturation and contrast, right? I played with the color temperature and some other things here like the shadows and whatnot here. You can see I played with some temperatures here. But if you use to color grade as well, you can also make more stylistic looks that look something like this as well. You can make it increase more the midtones to give it more that filmy vibe, whatever. Decrease some of the midtones to make it more greenish. Basically, all of this is we're playing with colors. You can decrease the shadows, make it more look bluey, increase it, that type of thing. It gives different moods and flavors. Okay, there's something called color psychology. You can go into that whole area and just kind of learn about it and whatnot. But yeah, that's kind of the grade there. If I go to the actual adjustment layer itself and just enable that, if you click on the effects one, we'll see this lens reflections. Okay, it's like it's just a subtle look. It's a subtle look that makes it look cool. But not many people may actually recognize it. But if I increase the brightness, you can see how this lens flare, it's basically like a lens flare, almost mimics reflections on the lens itself, and it gives it nice, cool, and a cinematic, is it, what's that word? Anamorphic, I think it is. Look, but anyway, this is how it looks like. Look at that. So
the kitchen knife, I'm at swing.
Basically, it's lens reflections. Okay, and then after I can even give it more anamorphism and make it more horizontalish. I can also play with all these other parameters here and whatnot. So essentially that's it there. That's what I'm trying to say. Now I also added this lens film grain. So this film grain, if we look at the grain only, this is how much grain is actually being applied to the image. Of course, it's an overlay effect and yeah, composite type overlay. You can also increase the grain size to make it look much more grainy. So that this, of course, that looks unnatural and doesn't look good. So of course, just reduced it, increased the grain strength if you want it to look more film-like and old-like type of thing. Like that. It's a bit laggy because I'm adding all these effects, but you get what I'm trying to say. You can make it look proper cinematic. Cool. Let's continue listening to the song.
The chance, they all disperse. Run, don't get hurt. I'm a pack man if I catch man first.
I've never seen a guy so fast. Where you get them burners, catch me if I wanna rip man shirt up, catch me when I see man burn up. Like, how can they take my bro and think they can dead this beef? No bros, we ain't even got no peace. Please, I wanna make my bleed.
Out on their block from like 2 to 5. When I wave it back, I utilize. Try and bruise the guy when I use the knife. Rip it super dry, that's a new design. End off, there's no clues to find. Send off with the Luger 9s. Make sure, now that's super like all chest shot. We'll let you decide.
Jump out, swing Bora. Show the odds about torture. Dukey loves to talk on Snapchat. When I bet that he's no longer a talker.
A lot of people ask me, that one there, that one's too cold. What was going on there? Simple. Okay, so if I go to that section of the song, disable the grade quickly on top. Essentially all it is, I think it's this bit.
Where you get them.
Not that bit. Okay, this bit here. It's a simple concept, and the main thing when people ask all these cool effects, it's mainly done like half of your work is done on the actual in the field, actually recording the track. Okay, it's to do with the camera motions and all this type of stuff, and then of course the other percentage is done editing. Okay, so that type of shot there, if I actually go to it here, we just started. I kept the camera in one position. Okay, you didn't move it, didn't touch it, made sure nobody touched it, etc. Okay, once it was in that location, I filmed the start of that verse, of the artist's verse, from there to basically whenever, or to, let's say, to the end of the verse, just to make things simple. Then I did the exact same thing, made sure I tried to make sure the artist stayed in the same position to make the effect actually work out. If you know the that video, the Buddy music video, Tion Wayne and Russ Millions, that type of effect where I need not to say no more. Anyway, that type of effect they was going for. So this is how it looks like the artist initially.
Jump out, swing Bora. Show the odds about torture. Dukey loves to talk on
that. And you're probably wondering, okay, in the Buddy one, the actual music video, they didn't have all this stutter with the visuals.
Show the odds about torture. Dukey.
If you're probably wondering why I did that specifically, it made it look harder compared to if I was just to do like this. If I just mute all of this, not mute it, disable it.
Show the odds about torture. Dukey
or something like this.
You decide.
Jump out, swing Bora. Show the odds about.
It doesn't give it that same effect. The reason why I did like that, mainly because the artist actually shifted to the left a little bit, or to his right. So it was kind of off. It was kind of off. Plus the beat kind of gave me the opportunity to make all those effects.
Show the odds about torture.
And because the camera was in one position, it worked out. And then I added this zoom effect in post. I didn't actually go. The camera doesn't have a zoom. My camera didn't have a zoom lens, so I couldn't do that on the camera anyway. So this
Dukey loves to talk on.
just added that, gives it that added dimension, that perplexing look, or whatever you want to call it.
On Snapchat when I bet that he's no longer a talker. Little man, was your energy gone? Check that, what you telling me, Don? If you're from
Yeah, and these drone shots every now and then they kind of help, kind of take your eye like, wow, cool, man, this is nice. If you're also wondering, the aspect ratio of this video was shot in. The aspect ratio is 496 by 1716, so it's given that 2.35 aspect ratio. Yeah, so that's that bit there.
little man, was your energy gone? Check that, what you telling me, Don? If you're from where my enemies from, can't take no chance on when the enemy's gone.
Jump out, push pedal back, let's swing this. I'm on a back row with a kitchen.
It's a kitchen knife, I might swing it right as I hit the guy and try turn man victim.
Leave him victimized, all man's tea, leave it liquefied. I thought bro tap that is knowledge, who would've knew that it hit the side?
Jump out, push pedal back, let's swing this. I'm on a back row with a kitchen.
It's a kitchen knife, I might swing it right as I hit the guy and try turn man victim.
Leave him victimized, all man's tea, leave it liquefied.
Those effects there are done with the actual camera and the gimbal, so it has like a rotation effect, spins, kind of cool.
I thought bro tap that is knowledge, who would've knew that it hit the side?
Yo, Cole, is that you in the mix? This is cold.
Yeah, then I brought in the effect there again. My film tag, put that in as well, and then towards the end just put the artist's Instagram, including mine, and some extra whatever you want to call it, credits, I guess. Yeah, so that's that there. Yeah, so that's that there. If I go to the actual editor itself, we can see here, and this is how everything is looking like, right? Okay. Of course, I can do a proper video where I actually go technical, deep down, how I actually organized everything, how I actually went about cutting video clips and whatnot. But that's a video for another time. Beyond the scope of this one, this is just more like an overview and a breakdown, kind of showcasing each element. But if there's a specific part you guys want me to actually kind of break down and whatnot, let me know in the comments below. Let me kind of show you how everything was kind of situated or rooted, not rooted, but organized. So I created folders for each artist here. You can see, yeah, Dinero, Krasha, PK, and there's some slow motion shots out here. And you can see I didn't actually use every single shot, every single clip used. You can see these red bits here. It shows that, hey, this is how much was used in each clip. So you can see some of these shots here. This is how initially they look like. So if you look at how grayscale they kind of look, you know, like that. Okay, and whatnot. Some other shots as well. Kind of put them in their own folder. Some drone footage here. You can see the drone footage here. If I take one here, for example, this is an example of some drone footage. Yeah. And yeah, so the drone footage, of course, you don't want there to be any jerky movements and whatnot in each of these shots and takes. So that's what I did there. So that's the video in a nutshell, this breakdown, rather. If you guys want more of a specific video, let me know. But I'm going to be kind of cutting out now. So if you guys enjoyed this video, please leave a like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.
Jump out, push pedal back, let's swing this. I'm on a better rule with a kitchen.
It's a kitchen knife, I might swing it right as I hit the guy and try turn man victim.
Leave him victimized, poor man's tea, leave it liquefied. I thought bro tap that is knowledge, who would've knew that it hit the side.
Jump out, push pedal back, let's swing this. I'm on a better rule with a kitchen.
It's a kitchen knife, I might swing it right as I hit the guy and try turn man victim.